What if your greatest asset is actually your biggest liability? You work hard, you get the promotion, the pay raise, you feel like you're finally getting ahead. So you buy the bigger house, the nicer car, and suddenly you're right back where you started, trapped in a cycle of running faster and faster just to stay in the same place, a cycle some call the rat race. It feels like you're doing everything right, but making no real progress toward financial freedom. In the next 6 minutes, you are going to learn the fundamental mental shift that separates the wealthy from everyone else. This isn't about working harder, it's about completely rewiring how you see the world of money, so you can finally start building a life where your money works for you, not the other way around. This transformation comes from one of the most influential financial books of the past 30 years, Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And at its heart is one powerful, life-changing idea: the asset-liability switch. To understand it, you have to go back to when the author was just 9 years old. He wanted to learn how to get rich, so his best friend's dad, his rich dad, agreed to teach him. But the first lesson was brutal. He made him work in his convenience store for 3 hours every Saturday, dusting canned goods for a measly 10 cents an hour. After a few weeks of this mind-numbing labor, the 9-year-old boy, feeling used and angry, finally confronted his mentor. He demanded a raise. He demanded to be taught something. And Rich Dad's response? He smiled and said, "Good, you're finally getting angry. Now I can teach you." Then he did something that would feel like torture to any of us. He told the boy to keep working, but for 0 pay. Defeated and confused, the boy went back to work. But without the distraction of a paycheck, something inside him shifted. He was no longer thinking like an employee, focused on getting paid for his time. He was forced to think like an owner, forced to find opportunities. And that's when he saw it. He noticed the store manager would rip the front cover off of unsold comic books and throw the rest away. An idea sparked. He asked the distributor if he and his friend could have the discarded comics. The distributor agreed, on one condition: they could not sell them. So they didn't. Instead, they opened a library. In a spare room in the basement, they amassed hundreds of free comics. They hired a librarian, his friend's younger sister, for $1 a week. They charged the neighborhood kids 10 cents admission to come in and read as many comics as they wanted for 2 hours. Their business was generating $9.50 a week, a fortune for a 9-year-old in the 1950s. But here's the critical part. The comic book library made them money even when they weren't physically there. That was the aha moment. The boy had learned the first and most important lesson of the rich. He had stopped working for money and created his first cash-flowing asset. So here is the mental model shift you need to make right now to apply this in your own life. It's a simple 2-step process. First, you must burn the dictionary's definitions of asset and liability from your mind and adopt these new, ruthlessly simple ones. An asset is something that puts money in your pocket. A liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. That's it. It has nothing to do with what your banker says or what you list on a loan application. The only question that matters is, which way is the cash flowing? Second, you have to understand how this redefines the game. The poor and middle class focus on their income statement. They work a job for a salary, and as their salary increases, they buy more liabilities they think are assets: the bigger house, the fancier car, the latest tech. But these things only pull more money out of their pocket every single month in the form of mortgage payments, insurance, maintenance, and taxes. Their cash flow pattern looks like this. Job creates income, and that income immediately flows out to pay for liabilities and expenses. It's a one-way street to financial struggle. The rich, however, focus on their asset column. They use their income to buy true assets first. Things like businesses, income-generating real estate, stocks that pay dividends, things that put money into their pockets. Their cash flow pattern is a cycle. Their assets generate income, which covers their expenses, and the leftover income is used to buy more assets. This creates a powerful, self-perpetuating engine of wealth.
The more assets they buy, the more their income grows. Which brings us back to that first unsettling question. What about your greatest asset, your house? According to this mental model, for 99% of people, your primary residence is not an asset, it is a liability. Why? Because every single month it takes money out of your pocket. It doesn't matter if its value goes up on paper, its effect on your daily cash flow is negative. It is an expense. This is the asset-liability switch. It's the realization that true wealth isn't built by earning a higher salary, but by relentlessly acquiring income-generating assets. Softly, you came here feeling stuck, running on a hamster wheel where working harder just made you more tired, not more free. But the secret isn't about the hustle, it's about changing the direction of your effort. It's about making the asset-liability switch, to stop buying liabilities you think are assets, and start acquiring the true assets that build a fortress of financial freedom. Firmly, the single most important takeaway is this: the rich do not work for money, they work to acquire assets that work for them. Now it's your turn to take action. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to perform a financial audit on your own life. Identify one thing you've always considered an asset: your car, your house, your boat, your degree. Then in the comments below, declare it and answer the only question that matters. Does it put money in your pocket or does it take money out? There's no judgment here. Seriously, just the hard truth. Let's see it, and let's get to work.